What's up, you guys? How's it going? Welcome to Motivation Monday with my special guest, Misty. Guest. Oh yeah. I was gonna make a big alliteration, like triple M thing, like Misty, Motivation Monday with Misty, but Danny's throwing me off, so I got nothing. So, how are you guys doing? Say hi.
Hi guys.
That's all you got?
Yeah, you said hi. I missed you.
All right. So today's talk, what we're really going. Oh, and Misfits. Look, I'm sporting it. We got the. This is backwards, but it says MS Gym Team Misfits, BGB Mindset Victory, and then we got the Sweaty Giggler. So all you Misfits, thank you for my shirt. This is one of our buddy groups we have here in the MS Gym. They are a tight knit group and they rock it out. It's fantastic. So today we are going to be talking about what it really means to progress, and some steps that you can actually take to progress your program. Because what I've noticed over, I don't know, the past week or two, just kind of popping in and out of our members corner and stuff like that, is that people are kind of getting in that place where they're like, you know what, I got to get back into the MS Gym. I've been doing things here, I've been doing things there, but life is happening to me, or you know, whatever it is. And I you know, even at Summit when I was working with people, I had a lot of people like apologize to me and be like, I'm so sorry, I haven't been in the membership and I haven't been doing my stuff. And I'm like, dude, it's cool. Like, you're here, right? And that's our attitude. Is we're always, as leaders, like, we're always gonna meet you where you're at. We're always gonna meet you where you're at. So we don't expect you to jump from I'm not doing much to all out blitz, right? We're not expecting you to do anything more than you can do right now, because if you're successful right now, that's just going to build on itself as you go. It is absolutely impossible to change your entire world in like a weekend or even a week. So if you think that you're going to start exercising 2 hours a day, throw out all the bad food in your pantry, like drink a gallon of water a day, get rid of all your clothes that are causing you problems, like go off every single supplement until you figure out what's going on, and just go, and just go 100%, it probably is not going to work out real well for you. The way that the brain works is it's just like learning. If we sat a 4th grader down and gave them a book on addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, algebra 1, algebra 2, and calculus, and say, hey, good luck, I want you to learn this in a month, there's no way it's going to happen. Their brain is going to freak out, their body's going to freak out, it's going to be super duper overwhelming, and that could lead with you guys, that overwhelm can actually lead to a flare-up or even a relapse. So the key that we want to talk about today is knowing who you are, knowing about you, and then slowing down so that you can speed up.
Yeah, I think it's important to note, like, I think that, yeah, those overwhelming situations can cause a flare-up, can cause a relapse, or they can just cause you not to act. Mm-hmm. And that's me to the T. I get overwhelmed, so I do nothing. and that's really not a place to live, you know, like, I can't tell you how many times where I've missed so many functions just because the thought of getting my baby together, or having, you know, to prepare a dish and get my baby ready and make sure I'm ready and
get the kids ready,
get out the door to go to a function, and it's just too much for me, so I just don't go. And you guys, we're missing out on life having a mentality like that. And you know, so I think it's really about changing your mindset, how you approach things, and like Trevor said, the ability to slow down a little bit, or to look for ways to ease into a situation, or, you know, finding simple solutions so that what you have in front of you isn't so overwhelming, you know, and maybe it's not having to worry about being so perfect all the time. I know for me, Summit was a big, actually, victory for me, because the thought, since I found out I was pregnant, of what am I going to do with a newborn at Summit, and, you know, being a nursing mom and trying to figure all these things out, like, it was massively overwhelming.
Right.
And, you know, and it just came to a point to where I had to slow down and, you know, and breathe and realize that one way or another it's all going to be okay. And I had to let go of the things that were so trivial. You know, I had to let go of the fact that yes, I was 5 weeks postpartum and I had an idea of the kind of clothing I wanted to wear, and now I don't fit in anything. And the only shoes that I had to wear were sandals, and that were nice with the outfits that I did choose, and I didn't have time to even paint my toenails. Like little ridiculous things like that, being able to let go of those things that seemed like I needed to be doing to prep, just so I could get my mind wrapped around, making sure my baby was taken care of and I had everything I needed, so that I could, first of all, be the best person I could be to the attendees, all of you who showed up, but make sure that, Trevor had everything he needed and the baby had everything she needed. So I had to be willing to let go of some of those really trivial things and just slow down enough to focus on the things that really mattered and prioritize.
Yeah. And Misty makes a good point pardon me. Misty makes a good point is that a lot of times it's like the little things that can paralyze you, right? Things like, how are people going to view me with my trekking poles? Or can I make it from the table at my restaurant to the bathroom? I know this is a big distraction right now, but it's okay.
But they like it.
But they like it. So, so these little things can definitely get you. These little things can definitely throw you off. And here's the deal, you guys, is that everybody's journey is different. So in the membership this weekend, Kim, one of our members, Kim, put up a post about what do you do when your mindset is just off. When you're standing at this abyss looking and you're like, how the heck am I going to do this? Or you're standing at the base of a mountain looking up and being like, yeah, great, Trev. Like, that's great that you can say, take one step at a time, and one step at a time, and one step at a time, but I don't even feel like I can do it. Like, how am I going to climb this? Like, I hear you saying one step at a time, but like, how am I going to climb this? How am I going to get up there? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Stop. That's what you're going to do. And you're going to take one step at a time. So here's the thing, is that it's in the details. We talked about planning before, but it's in the details. So you all know that you need to move. So that's kind of a non-negotiable. Okay? So you all know that you need to move in some capacity. And you've heard me say this before, that if you can take 3 steps, you can take 30. If you can take 30, you can take 300. The fact of the matter is that if you take one step, and you take one step, and you take one step every single day, eventually after 3 or 4 days of practice, consistency, your brain is going to be like, all right, we didn't fall. You took one step a day and we didn't fall, so I'll let you go 2. That's it, though. That's it. I'm only going to let you go 2, right? Or maybe you're someone who's like, I'm gonna take sugar out of my diet or something like that, right? And you just incrementally decrease that. If you go cold turkey after you've been eating sugar, you will feel like you got hit by a truck. Trust me, I've done it. It's incremental. And the other thing is that as you add good things into your life, you have to take draining things out. If you try to drain the threat bucket, you can't keep the threats in there, because then you're just putting more stuff in the bucket and it's going to overflow. Even good stuff can be a threat to your body. Like Misty was like, I want to look pretty, I want to be there for people, I'm taking care of my baby, I'm taking care of my kids, I'm taking care of my husband. It's all good stuff, but that doesn't mean that it's still not threatening to her brain. And it's all about the perception of how you view the things that you have to do in life. So please give yourself a break and realize that this is not an all or nothing jam. It doesn't mean that you have to go all out in exercise, all out in food, all out in water, all out in like, I'm going to go quit my job and leave my family and just go sit on an island somewhere, and that's the only way to heal.
Well, it's the little things, like Trevor said, it's the little things, and I think...
How'd you know I was done with my point?
Well, I just made you be done with your point. No. But Trevor's right, it's the little things, and I think that often, you know me, I love when people get a vision for their life and where they're going, and they set goals to reach that vision, and I love to say, I love to get your focus and your mind on your vision, but it's a double-edged sword, because if you're looking at where you want to be all the time, it can be really overwhelming, and you could be standing there looking over where you want to go, and you feel overwhelmed, and you don't want to take the first step to get there, because all you can see is where you want to be, and how far away that looks. And so it seems too far often. And so focusing on the little things that you can do is going to be really important, because it's those little things that make all the difference. It changes everything. The little things change everything. So it's that first step. It's like Tim McCready, who took 2 steps unassisted. It's those little things that, in the big scheme of things, isolated by itself doesn't seem so big. But ultimately, they're a lot bigger than we give them credit for. You know, so being focused on those little things. What is something little that I can do today to move myself forward? You know, I was talking with my mom, and just recently she was over here, and we were chatting, and some of you guys have met Gigi, and you know, she's had hip and knee issues. She's had a knee surgery not too long ago, and just all these things going on in her body, and she knows she needs to do something, and she's gone, just like you guys, through every medical channel she can to get answers, and every single one is a dead-end road, and she doesn't get any better, she doesn't get any help, it gets worse, she's hurting, and she's been afraid to exercise and utilize the tools, and I know you guys can relate to that. You're afraid, right? You're afraid to do certain things, and finally she saw somebody who referred her to a chiropractor, so we sent her to our chiropractor, and he gave her hope. He's helping her, she's feeling better after her first 2 adjustments. She sees that he's confident he can help her. So now she's like, okay, now I can start exercising. You know, I feel like I can start exercising. And then her mind's like, and I want to lose weight. And so now I'm going to start eating right. And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this. And she has this vision for what she wants to do now that she finally has that hope, you know. And that's great. And I'm excited for her. But I had to slow her down a little bit and be like, Mom, slow down.
Pump the brakes.
If you try to tackle all of that all at once, you're setting yourself up to fail. And I think that we all do that, right? We all do that. We see where we want to go, and we know that we need to eat right. We need to exercise daily. We need to
get your mind right.
Sleep. You need to drink water. You need to do all these things, right? You need to get your mind right. And so we try to change it all at once, you know? And then we get burnt out, and we quit before we've made any progress. And so it's about doing the little things and then layering them on as you start to get consistent with those little things. And, you know, so with my mom, I was like, you've got to figure out, you got to prioritize this. And I suggested to her not to start the diet now, not to change any of that. You know, maybe
just start moving.
Yeah, just start moving. Continue your chiropractic care, because he's got you on a really good plan right now, and just start moving. Use the tools that we have in the membership site. Do BGB boot camp, because time is of the essence, right? We all struggle with time. And BGB boot camp, those of you who are in the membership know that is the perfect program to get started with if time is something that is a challenge for you. You know, and so I suggested she do that, and you know, and I think that's perfect advice for all of us, is start small.
Yeah, and here's the thing, you guys, like, this isn't a linear journey either. So under Kim's comment that she put up in the members corner, there was a bunch of people that had some amazing advice. Like, people were talking about doing meditation and praying and reading and listening to music and listening to Motivation Monday, doing exercises, going for a walk, spending time with friends, something like that, right? All good suggestions, right? Fantastic suggestions. Here's the thing, is that progress is individualized and it is not linear. So the thing is, you guys, is that this is a process. Healing is a process. Counteracting MS is a process. It is not a 2-week get fixed quick. It is not a 2-month get fixed quick, all right? You're going to be here for a while. So get used to all this, right? Because you have had MS attacking you for years. And the thing is, as you start to attack those layers of dysfunction, other things are going to show up because you're actually getting through all the noise down to the root problem. And the thing is that some people need to get their mind right first. Some people need to get their movement right first. Some people need to get some crapola out of their diet first. Whatever it is, you need to really sit down and analyze what it is that is holding you back. Maybe it's a bad job. Maybe it's a bad relationship. Whatever could possibly go in that threat bucket, you really need to do a self-evaluation of what you need to get rid of to make space for the things that you need. Now remember, as many of you saw at Summit, movement inhibits threat. right? So the more you move or even visualize moving or attempt to move, even if it's just a little beep boop, something like that, you inhibit threat. So that allows you to think better, plan better, prioritize better, reflect better, analyze better, all that kind of stuff. So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. You've got to explore, you've got to play, and like Misty said, we've given you the best resources on the planet for movement. So that's done for you. You just need to figure out what works for you. You need to ask the right questions. You need to ask fellow MS Gymmers. Like, the resources are already here for you, so you don't even have to go looking. You just have to start with something.
He makes a really good point, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
point two's coming.
There's solutions out there, and your challenge may be getting started moving. Maybe you found the MS Gym because somebody was like, "Oh, exercise is key for MS. You need to start exercising. You need to do this," and you're like, "I have no idea where to begin." So you found the MS Gym, and we have resources for you to simplify that, to give you exactly what you should be doing, either based on your symptoms, if you're following any of the free exercise guides or companion guides, or you're in the membership and you just log in and press play every day, and there Trevor is, and me, in many of the exercise videos, telling you exactly what to do on a daily basis, and that's a way to simplify it. For me, one of my threat buckets, after, in just being so busy preparing for Summit, having the kids home from summer, having a baby, being pregnant this summer, and, it was dinner. I had a really hard time with dinner, and it was one of the things that I just had to let go of for a while, and so we were eating the same, 3 or 4 things, cycled out every week,
Spaghetti, tacos, what else?
Spaghetti, tacos, what is the third one? Pizza.
Oh yeah, all gluten-free, mind you.
Cauliflower crust.
Lots of greens, but yes.
And salad. We had salad with every meal.
Salad, tacos, spaghetti, pizza.
And, of course we tried to keep it within our paleo diet, so we'd have cauliflower crust, and we would have, zucchini noodles and this kind of stuff, and it just gets really old. And so now we're at this place where it's like, Summit's over. We need to get back into the swing of things. I want to start eating meals that I'm proud to feed my children, knowing that they're getting all the nutrition that they're needing, that he can eat because he's a special guy,
I'm a special guy.
All kinds of
Look
food
at me.
challenges, so we got to make sure to meet all those, and and paleo works for us, and so I was like, okay, I want to start planning our meals because that's the most overwhelming part. Cooking it, we can cook it, but we found so often it'd be like, so what's for dinner? Oh dang, I forgot to take out meat, or I forgot to do this, because we didn't plan for it. And that meal planning is really overwhelming for me. And so just like you guys with the exercise and coming to the MS Gym for your solutions, I went back to what I knew was good, and that, and Paleo Plan. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but paleoplan.com plans your meals out for you. They give you a shopping list, and they give you 2 weeks free. So I'm like, perfect. I need to get back in the habit, so I'm going to subscribe for that 2 weeks free, and I'm just going to follow it to the T. Whatever it is that they send us for this week, that's what we're going to have.
That's what we're eating.
And it was just a solution so that, again, I didn't feel overwhelmed trying to figure out what we were going to serve the next 7 days and plan that and then fill out my shopping list and go through all that trouble. I found a resource. I found something that could help me with something that I feel massively threatened and overwhelmed by.
Mm-hmm.
And, and we had a great breakfast this morning. We're going to have an awesome dinner.
Yeah.
And that's just because I found a solution. So, keeping it simple, I think, is key. Finding those solutions where you don't have to really think through it. You just got to show up.
Yeah, and that's what we do here. That's what we do in the MS Gym. You just show up and you just move, and that's it. And Misty makes a point, and my second point was talking about, progress is not linear. Meaning you don't just do this. It's like this, and then you go here, and then you're over here, and then you're back over here. And I know that a lot of people were feeling guilty about the fact that they weren't exercising as well. I mean, there were some people in the members' corner that actually fell. And then they posted up, I know that if I would have been doing my exercises and not stopped the past couple months, I would have been able to catch myself. I would have been able to balance. I probably wouldn't have fallen. And they're like, all right, it's time to get back in it. So Misty makes a good point, it's like, we're not going to be 100%. We're not going to create these 5-star gourmet meals and all this kind of stuff that take 2 hours to prep. That is absolutely insane to think that 2 active parents with 3 kids and a business and a family, that an MS Gym family we have to take care of, can sit down and meal prep and chop and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's not going to happen. So we are finding the best solution possible. There are solutions in the membership that are the best solutions possible for you to get started. Now here's the thing. Expect setbacks. The thing is, again, it's not linear progression. So give yourself a break. That if you were working out and you were killing it in the MS Gym and then life happened, right? You had a family emergency, or somebody passed away, or your kid got sick, or we had kids home, or we had a child, or we had an event, or we had whatever it might be.
We had all of those all at once.
Or we had all of those all at once, right? Then that's your brain is not going to allow your body to physically progress when you have all this other stuff saying, we got to deal with this, we got to deal with this, we got to deal with this. And then furthermore, your guys' brains, because of MS, they start to have a problem with executive functioning, which is being able to prioritize things and be like, all right, step 1 is this, step 2 is this, step 3 is this. Like everything's coming at you at once, and it's massively chaotic. So the thing is that sometimes you need to hit that brake pedal a little bit, give yourself permission to go back and work on the fundamentals. Like Misty and I are going back to what worked for us before, which was this Paleo Plan program, and we're sticking to the program. We're not trying to ad-lib, we're not trying to make our own stuff, we're not trying to do the Trevor and Misty way. We're doing what they tell us to do, period. I'm on a program right now, I'm combining the MS Gym and another strength and conditioning program. I am sticking to the program. As much as I want to veer off and do my thing, I'm sticking to the program. Sometimes those workouts are like, I want to really work on this, or I really want to work on this, but the program doesn't have that for the day or even the week. So I got to check my ego and trust the guy that I'm following, which is me and Lombard and someone else, and be like, dude, stick to the plan. Just like when we do, stick to the plan. So the thing is, you guys, that sometimes you need to go back and you need to work on the fundamentals. Sometimes you progress and you've done really well, but there's still those certain things in your body that don't work right. That's great. Go back to something you've already done and master it. The thing is, you will never master any of these programs the first time through. Ever. Probably the second time through. Ever. Probably the third time through. Ever. Like, I am still working on the fundamentals of movement, and I've been training since I was like 14 years old, and I'm now 40. So 26 years, and I'm still working on stuff.
Well, and that's important to note. Like, this is a lifelong process. You know, you're going to have practice. You're going to have victories, you're going to have setbacks, but it's inevitably it's like a mortgage, you know, and you buy a house, right? And you're hoping that investment is going to pay off, and then the market's up and down and up and down, and the first time that things get a little scary and you're like, oh crap, you know, like I'm losing money, and you could pull out, and then you'd lose a lot of money, you'd lose any progress you made, and you sell that house, versus if you hold on to that house for 20 or 30 years, and next thing you know, it's doubled in value, and it pays for your next house, you know, like you could literally sell it and pay cash for your next house, and you have to be willing to hold on to it long enough. And this is very similar in that you've got to put the work in every day. And there's going to be times where you only have a little to give. You know, you only have that something, that little something to give. But you do it and you stay consistent, and you're going to reap the reward. It's going to pay off. Even though you're going to have setbacks along the way. You're going to possibly have relapses. You're going to just have experience in life that sets you back. As long as you're doing something consistent every day, then you're going to have the payoff in a big way. And
she makes a point. Like, if you guys have ever followed the stock market and stuff like that, it's up and down, 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 right? But globally, it goes up. I mean, sorry, linearly it goes up. Like, the thing is if you sat at the bottom of the mountain and you never took that step to go up the mountain, you're going to stay at the bottom of the mountain. Right? If you're sitting in a swamp and you want to get out of the swamp, but you never stand up to step out of the swamp, you're not getting out of the swamp. But here's the thing. Every single thing that goes down has to come up. It has to come up, as long as you're putting effort in. So while you may be sitting there being like, yeah, Trev, but I have progressive. Yeah, Trev, but MS is progressing. Yeah, da-da-da-da-da. Yes, but It doesn't mean that your mindset can't improve, the quality of life can improve, your movement can improve. Like, all of that stuff can improve. You may not get back to 100% of what you think you should be, but the fact of the matter is that as you take forward progressing steps, as you lay down one brick by one brick by one brick by one brick, eventually you will build a wall. Even if you get some of those bricks and they fall down and they get knocked down, you know how you set them there before. Your brain knows how you set them there before, so therefore you will be able to build that wall faster the second time because you've already done it. So the fact of the matter is that without motion, without action, without doing something, you will never get anywhere. Ever. But the fact of the matter is that with the brain will, and I said this, it will adapt to the imposed demands placed upon it. So if your foot doesn't lift, if you have foot drop, right, but you work on everything else around your body that doesn't include lifting that foot, lifting that foot, lifting that foot, because your brain's like, I don't want to lift that foot. What if the whole rest, the other 98% of your body got stronger so that your brain's like, well, I can't lift that foot as much as I want, but the other 98% of the muscles are so much stronger, I think we can balance on this leg a little bit more so that we can actually lift this leg. That's how neuroplasticity works. That's how your brain works. That's how just basic human living works. If you want something different, you have to take action and do something different, because nothing changes if nothing changes. Right?
Right.
Right, Danny?
So I wanted to talk about something real quick and give you some good news. I hope you see this good news. I'm excited. But Misty Moments are coming back.
Woo!
And we're going to start with another book series, because The Traveler's Gift went over so well, and I've had so many people reach out and say that they enjoyed that. They would love to do that again. And so we're going to do that. And in just thinking about this topic today that Trevor and I were going to share with you, I really wanted to pick a book that I felt was going to kind of help us along this journey. And I got to thinking about, well, why? Why do people get so overwhelmed? And why are people so afraid to kind of even take that first step or put in the work that it's going to take? And I think, much like you, I get into a place of just feeling overwhelmed in general, that the things that I should be enjoying in life, I'm not enjoying. You know, there was times where Trevor and I were under just daily attacks of life. You know, so many things coming at us all the time, that when it came to the holidays, which are approaching now, and just the thought of going to spend time with family was overwhelming and frustrating, and we didn't want to go. We
didn't want to go.
Be
We didn't
angry
even want
and
to
bitter
see
that
anybody.
we even had to go and get ready for it and prep our meal. And that's a time when we should be looking forward to it. You know, looking forward to being with family and settling in and watching a football game on Thanksgiving with family and stuff like that. And I just felt like, and like those parties I would miss, friends who would invite me to come to their kid's birthday party, because we had children the same age, and it was just like, it was too much, and I'd miss out on it. I would miss out on making those connections because I wasn't enjoying life. I felt too overwhelmed by life to enjoy it. And I'm willing to bet that there's a lot of you who feel that same way. That
it's just too much.
It's just too much. You know, holidays are coming, and it's just too much to have to get ready. You know, with whatever your mobility is, it's too much to have to plan and prep and think about, or even get out the door to travel to whatever it is. And you know, when we're missing out on life, and it's that not being able to enjoy life that maybe keeps you from really pursuing the things that you need to pursue to even get better and to just improve upon your circumstances. Mm-hmm. And so I'm really, really excited, because the book that I've chosen for our series is called The Perfect Moment. And again, it's by Andy Andrews. And I chose Andy Andrews because his style of writing is very fun, and it's enjoyable. It's quick reads. You know, you can read
good principles with like a good story behind it.
Absolutely, but it's easy to read, right? And I don't want to add anything to anybody's plate that's going to be overwhelming. And so the chapters fly by like this because he's very, very fun to read. And so it's The Perfect Moment by Andy Andrews. And based on what I read about this book, is it's really he's going to take you through a series of principles again, so that you don't miss out on those moments that help you to enjoy life. Because if we can put more good moments into your day, we can interject that, like you find that perfect moment every single day. Next thing you know, you start to be joyful. You start to enjoy life. And when you enjoy life, you start to relax.
It becomes a habit.
When you relax, you can then do these things that you know are good for you, like exercising on a daily basis, pressing play on the programs on a daily basis. You know, maybe it's changing up your diet. Maybe it's eliminating sugar. Maybe, you know, it's just getting out, going for a walk with your husband, and, you know, not feeling threatened by that experience. Like whatever it is, I just feel like if you have something to enjoy on a daily basis, then it helps to eliminate that threat bucket little by little.
Yeah.
Life doesn't feel so overwhelming because you're actually finding a reason to smile or enjoy or capture a perfect moment.
Yeah. So it's the habit of happiness, right? I don't even know if that's a book title, but I may write it. So don't take it. It's the habit of happiness. It's the conscious decision to say, I'm going to be happy today. I'm going to be optimistic today. I'm going to choose to believe that this movement stuff is going to work, even though I haven't seen it work yet. I'm still feeding my brain the right stuff. It's just like medication. If you're taking medication, you don't take one dose of chemotherapy for cancer and it's gone. It takes progressive and repetitive doses over and over and over and over and over till you actually even start to feel better. So Misty, I'm excited to do another book. She's fired up about it, so that'll be cool.
I do not want life to keep passing me by.
Yeah.
And I know there's so many of you that feel that way.
Yeah, we don't want to pass by.
Because of your circumstances, because of your diagnosis, life is just passing you by. And in all reality, it's not. And he's very clear to say that no matter what your circumstances are, you can find that perfect moment. You know, and before you know it, it's not just a moment. It's several moments in your day. It's an entire day. It's these really awesome experiences that you don't even realize are happening. I don't even realize are happening. When I'm stuck and when my threat bucket's full and I'm overwhelmed by all these things going on in my world or by how my body is reacting to certain things, I miss it. I'm missing out on my kids growing up, or I'm missing out on these certain aspects of life and relationships and connection, and I don't want to miss it. I don't want life to pass me by. I don't want your life to pass you by. I want, as much as we want you guys to continue on your healing journey physically, it's the emotional stuff that really gets us.
It fills you.
Yeah, and so let's tackle that together. I'm really excited. So go to andyandrews.com because you can't buy it on Audible. I already checked. And you'll find his book, The Perfect Moment. And buy it. It's only $10. And so purchase that book. When I'm going to find out how long it takes to ship, and that's when we're going to start these Misty Moments. And we're going to do that together as a group again. So I'll be making
Who's excited?
more announcements as I know how long to expect for shipping.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap this up. And this was just kind of a family living room conversation. As you can see, this is the family living room with the family. So, you know, that's the biggest thing is the take-home message with you guys is that, number one, it's okay to have setbacks. Do not beat yourself up. Number two, if you feel like you're having a setback, you've got to start knowing yourself. Because by knowing you, knowing what helps you, knowing what you got to get rid of, knowing what you need to improve on, that's going to help you stay the course when things get a little bit iffy or maybe they're not happening as fast as possible or whatever it is. Number three is that when you start feeding good information into your brain that helps you focus on the small stuff, the small victories, the small wins, instead of this gigantic project that is your life, it becomes less overwhelming. Because everybody, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time, right? That just sounds gross, but that's fine. So that's the old adage, right? One bite at a time. So that is going to help you. And by feeding good information into your brain, by feeding good information into your joints, muscles, and nerves, you will start to decrease your threat bucket. And let me tell you, when you start to decrease that level of threat in your body, it's going to clear your mind, it's going to clear your body, it's going to help you stay more connected, and it's going to help you start making progress because it doesn't have a bunch of interference trying to battle for what the priority is in your brain. All right? So, you guys are awesome. We love you. Know that each of you is valued as a person. We do not expect you to rise up to our level of whatever you think our level of perfection is. We are here to meet you where you're at. We're here to guide you from where you are. We're here to come find you. We don't expect you to find us. We are coming to find you. The moderator team, the leadership team, your other fellow MS gymmers, like we are here. So if you need help and you need a support system, join the membership. If you want a plan and you want all those resources that you need to start on your journey so you don't have to think, join the membership. If you are not ready for that and you just want to do something that in the free group right now, in this group right now, do the free guides. Look, watch Motivation Monday. Watch Misty Moments coming out, and start to work on your brain and your mind first. Start to work on your mindset and your movement first. And then once you start to feel good, and once your body starts to like moving, and once you start to feel like, yes, I can do this, and you're ready to take it up a notch, like, we're ready for you. We're here for you, and we're waiting for you. All right? So we want you guys to have an awesome day. I hope this was informative, just to kind of chill out and just kind of have a family talk here. Aren't you guys happy that Misty's back?
I am happy to be back. Very happy. It may look like this, but I'm sure you guys don't mind, because little D is she's gonna be with me during some of these Misty moments.
Do you have any closing thoughts?
Yeah, just start small, wherever you're at. You know, I can't talk about that enough. I know many of you have heard our talk on all or nothing versus all or something. And for those of you who are new, who haven't heard that, you can search hashtag Misty Moments and you can find that all or nothing or all or something. And just know that something is always better than nothing.
Something matters.
Something matters. It's those little things, you guys. The little things. So if I can leave you with one thing, it's just to focus on the little things, because it's the big things that overwhelm us and distract us. But just focus on, if you can't do a lot, do a little. But do something. Right. And start somewhere.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for being here, my love. She's going to be back whenever she's coming back. I'm not going to put a date on it. I'll let her decide that.
Within the next 2 weeks, as soon as our book gets here.
Okay, good, because I don't want to fill her threat bucket up. So whenever she's ready, that's when she's going to come on. So look out for that. And we appreciate each and one of you. You're doing awesome. Baby Danny says good job as well. So we'll see you guys next week. Bye.